Hi, it's Kris back here with you, looking at week 1. If you are watching this, you have not watched the longer introductory video, please go back and watch it. Pause this now, turn it off, go watch the other one. I know if it were me, I would be tempted to go with this one first because it's going to be a much shorter video, but you need the other one first to get to this one. So we'll pause a moment. And hopefully now you've already watched it, you're picking back up with me. You're going to see, I am not into just sitting up here and lecturing you. You don't need me to lecture you on what you've already read, and I'm trusting that you've read it. You are reading out of Karen Ty today, this week, the introduction, chapters 1 and 2. Let me give you a heads up now for next week. Instead of reading 3 and 4 next week, actually what you're going to read next week is 4 and 6. So we're going to do, this week, if you've not already, you will be reading Ty Introduction 1 and 2. Next week, versus chapters 4 and 6, and then the week after that, you're going to read 3 and 5. But you'll see, if you haven't already in the syllabus, you'll see the progression of this, where we're going. Anyways, this week, I want us to think about what is Christian education. Karen does a really great job of tossing out some different ideas, some different words about what this thing called Christian education might be. These handouts, or not handouts, the supplementary reading, the resource reading this week will help with that as well. We're really going to pick up next week more on this notion of forming and transforming, but you'll see the questions for this week. They're going to pull out of the leadership ministries piece, the leadership UCC leadership ministry piece. I particularly like this intentional faith development piece. The charting it has in the back is very helpful. It's discussion about measurements, and again, we're going to talk more about that as we move along, but I want you to kind of look at that within your context this week. And so this will give you some tools, or at least, well, tools, at least a tool to help you with that. And then this thought about forming and transforming. What is happening within your Christian education program now? I know that some of you are serving in churches, some of you go to church, some of you are not going to church right now, and that's okay. I am asking you to bring this home to your setting. I have a home church. It's in Decatur, Georgia. That's where I was ordained now several years ago, 23 years ago. I consider that my home church, and there are times I use that as my base, my reference. I am not serving in a church right now. I am a member at Raytown Christian Church. So there are times that I look at this as my base, my home base, if you will, for what I'm thinking about. So if you're serving in a church, you may want to use that as the place from which you reflect. If you're too enmeshed in your church and you don't think you're able to look at your Christian education, faith formation, leadership development, vehicles or aspects there in your congregation, then think about the church where you were raised, right, where you made your decision to go into ministry, that location. If you're not in a church, either serving or really even attending right now, go ahead and think back to the last church you were in and use that for your example. I think that it's a little easier to look at these initial weeks from an outsider or I hate this word, but consumer perspective, right? So it's what am I getting out of this, rather than to be in the place of trying to critique it, not be critical, but to critique it, to look at it, to try and be objective, if you will, based on what we're offering. You know, because of course we're doing the absolute best that we can do. We're doing it right? We only have to take this class because, well, we have to take it if we're going to get our certificate of pastoral ministry. You see how that can go. So many of us, maybe I'm just projecting, many of us tend to be a little protective, right? We want to sit there, we're not able to really see it objectively, knowing that all objectivity comes with a subjectivity, right? So you may need to, again, in these early weeks, kind of look out at something, a different ministry than one that you have responsibility for right now. Now, as we move along in the course, I really want you to I want you to bring the pieces home, because I am hoping and expecting that you're going to put into place. In fact, that's part of your final paper. If you've read ahead, you're going to be thinking in terms of how you can take what you're learning and what you've learned and put that into place in your setting, or how you might put it into place in a setting that you might come to serve in the future. So anyways, if you're serving in a congregation, by the end of this course, you will be able to take this and implement it, or at least be laying the groundwork to implement it, because your church may not be ready for you to put into place those ministry, this type of ministry, by the time we end. But you'll at least be able to start to lay the groundwork. Again, I'm saying this for now, probably the fourth time, but I'm saying it because it is important. For now, I want you to try and take as objective a look at your Christian education or leader development, whatever that ministry is called in your church, to look at that now and to think into it from these perspectives. And just have fun with it, okay? I know this is our first week, our first go around, and you may be a little bit nervous. Most of you don't know me, you don't know what I expect. I just, as I've said in the opening introductory video, I just expect you to do your best. Bring all of you to this, and have fun with it. Bring an intention to learn. That's what I'm bringing with me, is an intention to learn something from you, actually to learn some things from you, and to be better for this experience, and to hope to leave you a little better, if you will, but in a different place than when you arrived here this week. So again, I'll say to you, have a great week, have fun with it. Make sure you let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy getting to know one another on the discussion forum, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you too. All right, have fun with it. I'll see you next week, and I'll talk to you, see you on the discussion forums. Bye-bye.